We are back live, I think. This is your Bolo Punch Boxing Hour, brought to you by George Rosen Insurance, www.bolopunchboxinghour.com, streaming to you live as always on Ustream.tv. We had a little bit of technical difficulty there, but Timmy the producer Patterson got us back on. Timmy, how can our listeners get in touch with us tonight?
Hit us up on the hotline, 219-743-9743. Yahoo Instant Messenger will be up in a second here. It is up now. Keyword Bolo Punch Boxing Hour. And join us in the chat room on Ustream.tv.
Please, because there's plenty of room right now. Fighting school teacher Jimmy Holmes, who's 17-1-2 with 9 wins coming by way of knockout, returns on January 23rd to Radisson Hotel Star Plaza in Maryville, Indiana. Timmy the producer Patterson, Emil Soda Babinski Kegaban, and myself, your host Chris Guzman, will all be there live and in person, signing multitudes of autographs, of course, and will be available for fathering your children and, and whatever else that you might need from us.
We were actually looking at maybe calling a blow-by-blow for Jimmy's fight and Mary's fight.
We'll be calling blow-by-blow for a few of them.
Yeah, at least those two. That's the main event and the co-main event. So we'll definitely be calling those two. And
wouldn't hurt to do a little Ed Ochoa action as well. Wouldn't hurt.
We'll probably end up doing all the fights. Yeah. Hey, we say Ed Ochoa, and then we're like, oh, that.
Well, there's only 5 fights.
That weight guy, man, he's good too.
Orpheus Wade, yeah.
Orpheus Wade.
That guy's crazy good.
Maggie teaches his kid.
Well, that's enough reason.
That's right there.
That's enough reason.
He definitely has some skills. He fought a guy that's, I believe, 6-1 in his last fight.
Yeah.
And he was coming into that fight only 2-0. So definitely showed some skills in there as well. Showed how he could slip punches. And not only that, how he could step around and move and use the angles. Which probably what I was most impressed with out of Orpheus.
And Jimmy Holmes, our good friend, definitely ready to put those gloves back.
Yeah,
I mean this is a guy who has been off for just over 10 months. I mean, it was last February when he last fought. A hard fight. He dropped the guy in the first round, and this guy wanted to grab.
Yeah. Which
makes it hard if you're trying to fight a man and the man doesn't want to fight you. He just wants to dance.
Yeah, he wants to. After he got hit, he felt Jimmy's power.
Which is not something anyone wants to feel. So he knew better.
Yeah, he decided that, well, the only way I'm going to make it throughout the rest of this fight after I got caught in the first round and nearly got knocked out is the hold. And rep finally just gave up and had to stop it.
Yeah. But very shortly after that, Jimmy had some problems with one of his feet. He had some bone spurs that he had to get.
Yeah, he had multiple problems. At first, he had a problem with something else, and then it went to the bone spurs in his feet. He had a couple. I believe he had something wrong with his wrist as well.
There were some physical ailments that he had to take care of, but he's 110% now.
They were all minor injuries. And
none of them was any real substance, but each one of them took a little time to get past.
Yeah, it took him out of training, which he can't just go into a fight without training. He's 17-1 now, so he's gonna be stepping up and fighting a little bit tougher fighters.
Well, what's cool is he's going to be live with us in the studio next Thursday night because, like I said, he's going to be fighting on the 23rd in Maryville, Indiana, which is only like half an hour out of Chicago. So.
Yeah, his opponent hasn't been named yet. Hopefully by next week when he's on the show, his opponent has been named.
And by that point, hopefully. So yeah, he is more than ready.
It takes a little bit more work for Octavius to find a guy that.
That's Octavius James, the CEO of One in a Million.
It takes One in a Million a little bit more to find a guy that the sanctioning bodies will allow Jimmy to fight now that he's 17-1.
True. Australia's IBO middleweight champion, this is off of FightNews.com, Daniel Geale, who happens to be 20-0 with 12 knockouts, is possibly going to be fighting IBF middleweight champion of the world, Arthur Abraham, who's got 23 of his 28 wins with no losses, 23 of those wins by knockout.
Obviously, his last big fight was against Miranda. That was the rematch. Everybody thought Miranda was going to win that first fight and get those points taken away from him.
Abraham beat him twice.
Yeah, and handily the second time. The first time he had a broken jaw and ended up winning that fight.
That's when everyone was calling him just the killer warrior, that he was able to do that. I still love me some Edison Miranda, I'll tell you, but Abraham's got his answer, got his number.
I know we aren't doing our picks of the year, but I have to go back to that David Banks knockout that Miranda had early on in the year when he knocked David Banks out of the ring and he was laying over the ropes.
That was absolutely vicious. What we'll do, let's go ahead and, if we have time tonight, in tonight's broadcast, we'll go ahead and talk about our fight of the year and everything. But what I really want to do is set it up for next Thursday to really get a chance to talk in some detail about our fight of the year and fighter of the year, knockout of the year, and round of the year if possible. So
yeah, an event of the year and everything. All of the year basically awards that that every big website has. We'll do that next year. We've had some next year, next week. We'll do it next year as well, but next week next week we'll do the last year's all the tops of the year basically.
Also, if I get a chance tonight, I want to go through my wish list for 09, which I guarantee will also involve, will referees please start counting to 10? Because that just simply never happens. But yeah, Juan Manuel Marquez going to be fighting is going to be fighting Juan Diaz. Pardon me. There's a picture of him on the internet on several websites actually.
Rocky Juarez is
going to be fighting on the same card.
And he's standing between the two fighters.
Yeah, which confused me. Because I'm a very visual person, and you put three guys, I think they're all going to fight at the same time against each other in like a battle royal type format, because I was brought up on WWF. Thanks for taking that away from me, because that's just confusing me. That's just confusing me. What do you think here, man? I mean, Marquez definitely is used to...
the pressure that Diaz
he's used to piles of pressure.
I mean, he obviously just fought Manny Pacquiao, which nobody really puts much more pressure than what Pacquiao's going to put on you.
What he's used to is pressure with extreme danger spots within that pressure. Like, any one of these pressure shots could be a knockout punch with Pacquiao. You don't have that knockout power with Juan Diaz, but you're still going to have every bit of... as much pressure as Pacquiao will.
If not even more pressure.
Yeah, because Pacquiao isn't as interested in defending your shots. He's just going to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Diaz is going to block those shots. He's going to be pretty much in front of you. He's going to be in front of you, and he's going to bang with you, and that's his thing. A
very similar style to Ricky Hatton.
Yes. I don't know between the two, between Ricky Hatton and Juan Diaz, which one hits harder. But I know that Hatton is known more for clubbing punches than nice, straight, precision punches that Juan Diaz is known for.
Yeah, so, Diaz lands a lot of clean punches. Like you said,
yes, he does.
He doesn't have necessarily the Sunday punch, as we said earlier.
Yeah.
But he still lands with a decent amount of power, and they really add up when they're clean like that.
That's the key to Juan Diaz's...
attack.
His entire game plan is land as many punches as I can. He's not going to know when they're coming at some point, and I'm going to catch him clean. That's exactly what he did with Julio Diaz. Julio Diaz, after the 7th round, didn't even know what shots he was getting hit with, because they were coming so quickly, all rocketing at his head at the same time. Not one of them on their own was going to knock out Julio Diaz, but Juan Diaz's shots, when he's doing it punches and bunches, the way he does, that's his way, his style. They're gonna definitely mess up a lot of fighters. Are they going to bother Juan Manuel Marquez? That remains to be seen. I think of all the fighters that are out there, not named Manny Pacquiao, I think Juan Diaz has some of the best chances there are out there against Juan Manuel Marquez.
Yeah, just that, like I said, that pressure, and you've seen him just take the will from a couple of fighters in both Julio Diaz and Popo Freitas. And I don't know if he'll be able to drain the same will out of a guy that's a little bit more, I guess, more in his prime than what Freitas was, and I guess a little bit more skilled than what Julio Diaz was. Now, I've counted Juan Diaz out before, and he definitely proved me wrong. I thought I picked against him in the Katsitas fight, and he put a big X on my plate when I picked against him then. And if I pick against him here, I don't know if that would be the wise choice. I mean, it's...
Look at the guys in the last 2 years that Juan Diaz has put his name on paper to fight. Does the guy not take easy fights? That's my big question. I mean, you go from Acelino Popo Freitas straight to Julio Diaz, straight to Nate Campbell, straight to Michael Katsitas, who had the least... He was undefeated, powerhouse, crazy strong, all over the place.
Well, he lost one fight. They both had just came off their first loss.
Yeah.
Because he lost to Casamayor.
Pardon me there. And then Diaz goes straight for Juan Manuel Marquez. So 5 fights. How much gold and backup former gold are we talking here? We're probably talking 10 to 12 belts.
I think Julio Diaz had held pretty much every belt that there was, except for the Ring Magazine belt, which is the one that Marquez holds. And Marquez has done the same thing that basically the same thing that Julio has done. I mean, he fought Pacquiao, then he fought Casamayor. Now he's going over here. I can't name all of the fights that he's fought in a row, but he does the same thing. He fights all the top guys.
Yes, he does.
So you can't take anything away from him either. They both have the experience at this point. I don't know. I think this will end up being a great fight. That's for sure.
This is going to be outstanding. This is going to be, oh man, this is going to be outstanding offense versus outstanding offense, but different type of offense. This is going to be very, very hard shots coming from Marquez, but not as many, and it's going to be piles of shots that, when added up, equal a TNT explosion in Juan Baby Bull Diaz.
And you get the added bonus of this being on HBO Championship Boxing instead of HBO pay-per-view.
So it is relatively free HBO.
Chris's favorite way.
It is my favorite way to watch fights. You know what I saw? Someone was talking on Yahoo Answers earlier today that they had heard that CBS, of all places, was going to be showcasing Manny Pacquiao against Ricky Hatton.
I don't know. I would think maybe Versus before CBS, but
I'm not certain. Well, no. I would see CBS versus way before Versus.
Well, Versus does get some of the big names. They've actually had Hatton on there before, so.
Yes, but not this Ricky Hatton.
Not Ricky Hatton against someone with the name.
Against someone like this, yeah. I see CBS trying to make a statement that we believe in boxing, we believe in a huge fight, and we're going to play it for free. There's still going to be huge advertising dollars to be made, freakish advertising dollars.
CBS tried doing this, I believe, last year or the year before. They tried buying a fight, and HBO actually outbid them so that they wouldn't be able to do it, to protect themselves.
Well, HBO pay-per-view needs those pay-per-view dollars because they're not getting as much with advertising. You can put some things on the ring. You can put it on the apron. You can show a couple of logos up on the screen and whatnot. But you're not going to get the advertising dollars on the pay-per-view side as far as the broadcasting. You will off the promotion because there'll be logos everywhere in the stadium, but you don't see that on TV.
Yeah,
also in the program and whatnot. But on CBS, CBS will make huge money by with all their advertising dollars, with all the commercials, because they will take commercials.
Yeah,
CBS will take crazy amounts of silly little commercials.
Yeah, well, they'll take a commercial basically between every round, just like you see on what do you call it, ESPN right now.
Yeah,
they just basically take a break unless something really dramatic happens during that round where they want to see what's going on in the corner. They take a break every round, which I mean, if it's a 12-round fight, that adds up pretty quick how many commercial breaks you get to get. It's not quite American Idol, but not far off. Every 3 minutes you get to take a commercial break. True.
You're also you're dealing with a completely different audience than you would be with American Idol.
I know. I'm just bringing up. I mean, American Idol, obviously, they get a giant amount of commercials.
Freakish commercials.
You sing a song, and then there's a commercial. They come back and they talk to the person, and then there's a commercial. I mean, it's kind of...
Tim, it sounds to me like he watches this a lot.
It's kind of... Well, American Idol is coming back here very shortly, so...
I wouldn't know.
I'm hyped up.
I wouldn't know. Tuesday at 8. T-Bow's ready.
But it would be very exciting to see CBS pick up some boxing. I watched Comcast, as I said earlier, show a fight yesterday on one of their networks, Comcast Sportsnet, and it wasn't as basically a high class show as what you would see on HBO or Showtime, but it was still pretty raw. But you could definitely see the makings that if they were on a little bit longer, they would start getting their game together and get everything set up the way they need to.
What was it? You said Comcast Sportsnet, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to get some better announcers.
Yeah, namely someone in this room would be pretty good.
That'd be great, but yeah.
I hope they're not watching tonight.
I caught a little bit of it, but it was hard to watch with the announcers because it was...
And it was kind of odd how the ring announcer was actually did the interviews in the ring afterwards. It was kind of an odd setup altogether. The flow of the show wasn't bad, other than like Timmy said with the announcers, they could do a little bit better job. They didn't realize when the commercial breaks were coming, and they just basically said, "Hey, we're going to go to a break now."
Some of it, they didn't point out some of the stuff that was actually happening in the ring.
Yeah, but that happens on Showtime and HBO as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's not quite that bad. They could work on their angles a little bit with the cameras, a little bit better lighting. I would really like as well, which cost some money for basically the promoter to set that up. But I mean that's pretty exciting as well, just to see Comcast even stepping up in the game, showing a little bit more minor fights around.
Well, it'd be great. I mean, you guys talking about CBS or somebody picking that up, NBC or what have you, picking up some free boxing on TV would just be huge.
Well, you got to remember CBS is affiliated with ESPN, so they're going to have top of the line coverage as well.
All depends. It sits in the hands of the promoter. Who wants to pick it up? And the promoter can package it any way they want to. He can present it a particular way if he wants to. If he wants more pay-per-view to pick it up, if he wants, straight up HBO to pick it up, they're going to know how to package it. So it's not like you present the exact same package no matter where it's going to end up going. It's going to be a different broadcast on CBS than it would be on HBO. It depends on where it would be.
Well, the undercards might vary quite a bit as well.
Very true. Very true. It's already 9 o'clock. I know we had some downtime there with the technical junks, but we have to talk a little Margarito against Shane Mosley. We simply have to. Our listeners are actually really, honestly, they're demanding it. So that's what I'm reading right now. So Shane Mosley, who was the single most impressed, that's not really the word I want to use, single most surprised man at the reading of the verdict at the end of his second fight with Oscar De La Hoya. He was the most shocked when they announced his name as winning that fight. He did not even believe he won that fight. I sure didn't believe he won. I think it was sort of close, but I think Oscar did enough to win that second fight. Shane obviously won the first one, and he won it well. But the second one, I think Oscar edged out a round or two. So Shane was really shocked when they read his name up. And it turns out that he was high on steroids at the time. Great. So I still don't know. I haven't been on BoxRec yet and really checked, but have they moved that to a no contest yet?
No, I haven't checked. I don't know.
That's a good. That's something for our listeners at home to do. First one to text it, come up on our. Can't think of the word I'm trying to say. Come up into our chat room right now and let me know what has happened with that fight. If it turned into a no contest or what, we'll get a personalized autographed photo of Timmy the Producer Patterson.
The speed up.
It'll be personally autographed, but it will be emailed to you. It's totally authentic. So, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, Shane Mosley obviously brings the experience. He's got but then again, when you look at their records, Margarito has almost as many fights as Shane Mosley does.
Yeah, Margarito started fighting when he was 15 years old. So
he's definitely got experience as a pro, but he doesn't have top echelon experience the way Shane does.
Yeah, and Shane's not the same Shane he used to be.
Very true.
He's he's actually slowed down a little bit. He moved back down to welterweight, which has actually helped him out quite a bit. His speed has came back a little bit since he moved down to welterweight. But speed has never been the problem with Antonio Margarito. Throwing punches and bunches has always been Margarito's problem. When someone can outwork him, that's the problem that he had. When he fought Clottey outworked him for those first 6 rounds until he broke basically both his hands. And then Paul Williams did the same thing in the rounds that he won. He was outworking Margarito as well, which has always been Margarito's MO, is to outwork his fighter, his opponent. And I don't know, he basically has a granite chin. He's never really been hurt by anybody. I don't think that's going to be any different. Mosley's not going to be able to hurt him. Margarito, I think he'll pull this one off. It's going to make him shine that much higher in the welterweight division.
To put a name like that on his record.
But I still don't think he is the best at welterweight that there is. I mean, there's obviously if Floyd comes back, he'll move ahead of him. And I still think of Paul Williams as a welterweight, even though he's fighting obviously
middle now.
Middle now.
He's going to be campaigning as a cruiser next year. And still knocking dudes out.
But you got to look at Paul Williams if he would have fought at that weight class, and also Clottey. I still think Clottey, even though he has the one loss against Margarito.
Well, you were talking earlier about the lineage game, man that beat the man that beat the man. Margarito beat Cotto, and Cotto beat Mosley. So, in effect, we've already seen this fight. Cotto's win over Mosley was in a close fight.
And when I looked at Cotto,
Margarito against Cotto was not close.
When I looked at the matchup with Cotto and Margarito, I didn't think that the type of style that Margarito brings to the game was what was going to beat Cotto. I thought speed was going to beat Cotto. Because I seen Ricardo Torres.
If you'd asked me 6 months ago, who out there can beat Miguel Cotto, I'd have said Shane.
Because when we seen Ricardo Torres catch Cotto and really hurt him, that's it. When I seen that kind of speed hurt him, I figured somebody that was quicker than Ricardo Torres was really going to catch Cotto by surprise. But he basically has proven us wrong every time he's fought a fast guy. He's weathered the storm and ended up really hurting the guy, basically either breaking his eye socket or his jaw or whatever bone he decided to break in that fight. Yeah. But Margarito's head just was made of granite, so he could hit him all he wanted, and it never slowed Margarito down. And I don't think Margarito's going to get slowed down by Mosley either. I think he's basically going to walk through Mosley. I don't think Mosley's going to win very many rounds in this fight even.
Pete the Heat Perry in upstate New York says Mosley Margarito will be a classic for a while, but Margarito will wear him down. Shane has lost a step. End quote. I can agree with that for a while. I think it will start out really fast-paced, and Shane will either pull the trigger or he'll fade. My gut tells me, and my gut is very dominant on my body, my gut tells me that Shane is definitely going to fade after about 8 rounds.
I think about the 3rd round he'll start to fade. I think it'll be very quickly. It just Margarito's basically just will to work over somebody. I think.
What's the smartest thing Shane can do in this fight to be effective? Should he not blow his wad early? Is that what we're saying? I'm guessing,
early. He'll have to dance a little bit early. Kind of do what what's his name did against what Holyfield tried to do against Valuev, but instead of dancing,
which is something we still have to talk about. It's 5 after 9.
We'll get to it, but he'll have to dance like that, but throw a little bit more punches in there. I believe that's why Holyfield ended up losing that fight. He wasn't active enough. He'll have to jump in and pick more spots than what Margarito will do, which will be pretty tough because Margarito will be moving forward the whole time.
Margarito doesn't know how to go backwards, and he's got really, really freakishly long arms, and he hits really hard. Ask Miguel Cotto how hard he hits. But that was more accuracy, I think, than power.
I don't think Mosley. I think it would be a good idea to try to move him backwards because the couple of guys that actually did get
Margarito
to step back did really well against him.
Williams
and Clottey as well.
Yeah.
But the problem is I just don't see that kind of punch output coming from Mosley to be able to do that. So he's going to have to try to do something else, and he's going to have to be pretty slick to be able to get around what Margarito has to offer.
And if one tool that Mosley brings every time with him is tried and true, it's his speed. He's a quick fighter. He's not Floyd. Not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah.
There was a time, like around the time of his first fight with Oscar, you thought, my God, he is so much faster than Oscar. I can't believe this. This is beautiful. He's gonna beat him, and he did. This is nearly 10 years later. It's like, it's getting to where you're saying, okay, Shane, what do you really think you can accomplish at this point? And why are you fighting the best guys? Is it because, are you cashing in on your name? Shane, I love you. I love you a little less now that I know that, you had a little problem with some drugs a little bit ago. Against a fighter that you've already beaten. I mean, yes, it's Oscar, but come on now. I mean, and the story could come out that he had a severe injury that he wanted to be able to work through. And I mean, I don't know what goes through a fighter's mind right
well,
before.
It's hard.
I won't pretend to.
What I'm guessing is he did have an injury, and he took those steroids to get through that injury, and because he didn't want to give up the kind of money he was going to get to fight Oscar.
You show up to fight Oscar, regardless.
Yeah.
If he called me, I'd go. I mean, whatever. He's got to come to my weight. I don't have to go to his. And he goes to people's weights now. He won't have to get down to 147 unless he's just fighting my right leg.
But nonetheless, it sounds like we're both going to pick Margarito in this one. Why don't we take a quick break and we'll run through the fights. Actually, past fights from, I believe it was like 3 weeks ago, because there haven't been many fights lately. We'll run through those real quick.
Yep, and let's take our second break of the night. We'll be right back. And we're still waiting for Juan the Baby Bull Diaz to join us live on the air. This is our Bolo Punch Boxing Hour, brought to you by Georgia Rogie Insurance, www.bolopunchboxinghour.com, streaming to you live as always on Ustream.tv.